when you talk about someone who loved the sports section at the Providence Journal, that was Art Martone. No one in the state loved that sports section more than he did. He put his heart and soul into it from day one as an editorial assistant until the time that he was the sports editor. And you're talking, 30 plus years at the paper. And you'll never meet a more kinder, gentler human being, especially in our business, than Art Martone.
You spent almost 2 decades with him, Joe. One or two things maybe that stick out in your mind that he passed along to you, or just a story that you can share if you peel back the curtain?
January 19th, 2001, Maury. I was at home. I got a phone call from Art, and I was ready to come in for my normal shift in the sports department, working the copy desk. And he called, and he told me, you might want to come in a little early. And at that time, I was hoping I was up for a promotion. And I jumped in my car and I drove down to 75 Fountain Street in Providence and went into his office. And Art Martone was the one who told me that I was promoted to a full-time sports writer at the Providence Journal. And this man, a little emotional, but he changed my career path, my life. It was a pretty emotional day, and as it is today, that Art did a lot for me, but he also did for a lot of other people as well.
How would you describe him as a colleague, as a friend, and even as someone who you reported to?
He was as genuine could be. And I tweeted today that we now know that God is a Red Sox fan because he wants to talk baseball with the most knowledgeable Red Sox person on the planet, and that was Art. And you could go to him with any idea and he would okay it, or he would come to you with an idea, or what do you think about this? He just made everyone around him better, not only from a professional standpoint, but also just from a human standpoint. You wouldn't walk out of his office without feeling better about yourself. And I know everybody says, it's a cliche, this person is the best person that you've ever met or you dealt with, but Art Martone truly, genuinely was that person.
It wasn't too long ago when you were able to share a meal with him and some of the former colleagues that you had at the ProJo. What was that conversation like, and what did you guys kind of reminisce about?
Maury, I thought a lot about that today, and that was back in October. And we were getting together to get together with Bill Reynolds. And it was Dave Blas, who was the sports editor before Art Martone. It was myself. It was Paul Kenyon, legendary golf writer, basketball writer in the state, and Bill Reynolds and Art. And we sat there and we talked about the newspaper business and what the Providence Journal was like when he was a sports editor, and we worked for him, and just what sports was like in Rhode Island. And we talked about the Red Sox, and we talked about the Paw Sox moving to Worcester. And he was asking me a lot about that now that I'm covering the Woo Sox for the Telegram. And it was a 2-hour lunch, and it was just great to be together. And I did, you're right, I tweeted out a picture of all of us sitting there, and each one of those men sitting at that table had a major impact in my life. And Art was right there at the center of it. And again, I wouldn't have the career that I have without Art. And we talked about it that day at lunch.